Hello, everybody. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Epstein files. I'm not doing a deep dive into them. There's going to be a lot about the Epstein files that I completely leave off of this channel. And it's not the fact that I'm not wanting to bring awareness to it or that I'm scared of, backlash or anything like that. It's just there's so many channels out there that is covering it, and even the mainstream media, the way they try to cover it up and hide it and throw everything else out, most people already know what's being covered up. And I suggest that if you want to have a full deep dive, and I do mean a tremendous deep dive into the Epstein files, that you go over to the conspiracy files and pay Colin a visit. He has done some amazing work, and not only with Epstein files, but there's so many videos over there about different pedophiles and different organizations, and you name it. He's got a whole team. They call it out, and it's super amazing. So I will probably, if I remember at the time of posting this, put the link or at him or something in the description, because watching from over there, you get the full aspect of the Epstein files plus a ton more. But with that said, I'm focusing on a couple of different aspects that is not brung up at all. And if it is, it's just kind of a glance at it, because you always hear about the girls on the plane, the girls in the modeling, the girls on the island, the girls being trafficked, and they all need awareness brought to them. And over on the conspiracy files, you can actually see some photos of victims, even though they have been blacked out and stuff. But even the fact that there is photos of them, it gives their representation. It brings awareness to them. The ones I'm going to be covering in this video is the LGBTQ plus links to the Epstein network. The ones that go on and on and on, covered up. So there's a total different aspect of what I do over here and what Colin does on his channel. So, like I said, if you want full in depth, you can go over there. This channel is designed to be, quote unquote, boring. I'm not sharing screen. I'm not doing nothing more than just simply talking and reading a script that I spend forever putting together, finding this information, looking up, the sources. A whole bunch of stuff goes behind these short little videos that I do. But it is designed to stay boring because of the fact that there is the domestic violence, there's the substance abuse, there's the sexual assault stuff on this channel. And if a victim is looking for resources or information, I do not want something flashy to come up on the screen, intro music and all kinds of stuff that is going to bring attention to what the person seeking assistance is watching. That's the main goal here. This channel will forever be as is. But nonetheless, it is designed to bring awareness. And with that said, anybody that is mentioned in this video or any other video is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Now, just because they are innocent until proven guilty doesn't mean that they haven't done things where there was eyewitnesses, people to say that they did stuff that just hasn't made it into the court system yet, or it went before a judge, like the ones I named off in the previous video about, slap on the wrists or a couple years probation, anything to basically keep them off the registry. So, with all that said, I'm going to start dropping a couple of videos about Epstein. There will be some people named off, but I am not going to be naming victims because they deserve to have their privacy. And because there's so much redacted material out there that, linking one victim to a certain situation or whatever within the Epstein network is like next to impossible. But the unsealing of the Jeffrey Epstein documents has exposed a machinery of abuse that was far more complex than a single demographic of victims or perpetrators. To understand the full scope of this human trafficking ring, one must look at its LGBTQ plus connections, not as a separate entity, but as a specialized layer of the same predatory system. This dimension of the ring illustrates a darker truth, that the architecture of blackmail and silence was designed to exploit every possible vulnerability, using sexual orientation and social stigma as a tool for control. The first section is the invisible victims, expanding the narrative. While much of the public discourse has focused on the trafficking of young girls, a growing body of investigative work and survivor testimony suggests that the ring reaches was broader. The erasure of male victims. In some trenches of the files and related investigations, allegations have surfaced that a significant number of the victims were young men and pubescent boys. Critics of the early legal proceedings argued that the pedophilia label was used to frame the crisis in a way that centered only on girls, potentially masking a parallel statutory rape crisis involving male youth. The vulnerability of gender nonconforming youth. Human trafficking thrives on a marginalization of the target. LGBTQ plus youth, who are statistically more likely to face homelessness or rejection from their families, were uniquely vulnerable to the grooming tactics used by facilitators like Ghislaine Maxwell. By offering mentorship or financial stability, the ring preyed on those who had no safety net. Number 2, the LGBTQ elite, power and association. The Epstein files and the flight logs include several prominent figures within the LGBTQ plus community whose proximity to the network raises profound questions about social integration and complicity. Lord Peter Mandelson, former UK ambassador, cabinet minister, described as Epstein's best pal in a 50th birthday book. Emails from as late as 2016 show Epstein discussing Mandelson's husband, Ronaldo, and advising them to stay together. Kevin Spacey, Academy Award-winning actor, frequently appeared on flight logs for the Lolita Express and in photos as at Epstein properties. While Spacey has denied knowledge of the crimes, his presence in the inner circle underscores the network's deep ties to the cultural elite. Peter Thiel, billionaire tech investor, named in the 2024 documents as an associate who had meetings with Epstein, later testified that he found Epstein's social circle weird, but maintained contact for years. 3. Blackmail and the outing mechanism. The core of the Epstein operation was compromat, the gathering of comprising material to ensure the silence of the powerful. For high-profile individuals in the 1990s and early 2000s, their sexual orientation was often their most guarded secret. Targeting the closet. Investigative reports suggest that Epstein's properties were wired with surveillance to capture guests in compromising positions. For LGBTQ plus public figures, the threat was twofold: the legal ramification of the acts themselves and the social death of being forcibly outed in a less tolerant era. The Mutual Protection Pact. By involving high-ranking figures in same-sex encounters, particularly those that cross legal boundaries, Epstein created a mutually assured destruction. This ensured that even those who were not inherently predatory became guardians of the secret to protect their own reputations. 4. Money as a tool of social erasure. Just as wealth was used to buy the silence of female victims, it was used to create a gilded cage for the men within the network. Large donations to LGBTQ plus associated causes or scientific institutions often served as reputational laundering. The philanthropic shield. By funding products led by gay luminaries or scientists such as Marvin Minsky, Epstein bought social capital that made allegations seem unthinkable. Buying legal immunity. The $290 million settlement by JP Morgan in 2023 highlighted how financial institutions ignored red flags regarding Epstein's transactions. This financial negligence allowed the ring to continue servicing its elite clientele, regardless of the gender or age of the victims being trafficked. The LGBTQ plus connection to the Epstein files is a reminder that predatory networks do not respect boundaries of gender or orientation. They only respect power. To truly honor the victims, our awareness must include the young men and the marginalized LGBTQ plus youth who were consumed by this machine. By calling out the names of those who facilitated this environment, we move closer to a world where money can no longer buy the right to destroy a life in secret.